Welcome back to the Divine Feminines podcast and channel. I'm your host, Steph Desar, and in today's episode, I want to talk about twin flame, high vibrational soul connection protection. How to protect your connection, especially these high vibrational ones. Now, before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, Divine Feminines, on YouTube, and we're on all major platforms for podcasts. That's Apple, Spotify, and Google, and all the others. And we're also on Instagram. That's Divine Feminines with a Z, and the same on TikTok. Now, why would you want to follow us and stay tuned? Well, we talk all things mind, body, soul, empowerment, moon magic, moon manifestation, how to bring in balance to your masculine and feminine energies, learn more about the twin flame journey and high vibrational soul connections, and have just general energy updates. So, with that being said, protection of the connection. Why did I want to do this? Because many of you that are listening would have tuned in because you're either in a very high vibrational soul connection with a soulmate, or you resonate with the twin flame journey. And if you resonate with it, you'll understand and appreciate that this is a journey and this is a connection that transcends and goes way beyond typical relationships and dynamics. The intensity, the closeness, the cord that brings those two souls together, especially the twin flames, but even the vibration that brings souls together, the high vibration that brings them together, it creates a major catalyst and transformational, pivotal kind of lever in these connections. And so there can be very volatile moments, peaks and troughs, and you could call them moments somewhat toxic in some ways, but it's not toxic to keep. Toxicity to remain, it's toxicity to surface so that it can be transmuted. Now, I will never say to anyone to stay in connections where they're being abused or it's getting quite toxic in a dangerous way that, risks your safety, let's say, right? So why do I want to talk about protection of the connection? Well, many of you that are listening probably have at one point discovered that you're a twin flame, or you've met a soulmate that is very sacred to you, stands out against anyone else, but the experience is like no other. It has its highs and it has its lows, but the lows can almost seem like the person is not good for you, or they're doing things that are just unacceptable to the ego. And that's why I'm going to say to the ego. And unacceptable to what maybe society, TV, media, just the typical kind of paradigm of how relationships need to be. It doesn't go against that sort of roster, and it goes against the grain, but it's going against the grain because it's creating a new paradigm, a new blueprint for love. Now, these connections can be quite challenging. So how do you protect the connection and how do you stay mindful? Well, it's hard, right? You need someone to talk to. And this is why I wanted to do these videos, because I hope it helps those that feel they need to hear this and just need the reassurance. We go usually to our closest and nearest and dearest. That's friends and family. Usually, maybe even co-workers, right? Because they're kind of like, if you work with them a lot, then they might end up being just friends as well. Now, these connections, especially with twin flames, are quite a rarity. I truly believe that the twins come from a group of 1,000, got that wrong, 144,000 oversouls, which are then broken down into multiple souls, and of which some are twin souls. So I'm only guesstimating about 1.8 million potential twin souls out there, individuals. If we deduce that, then that would be half of that would be the pairs, right? Let's not get into the numbers, but what I'm saying is they are a rarity, and I'm going to speak more towards twin flames, but those that are in high vibrational soul connections will resonate a lot with what I'm saying. So when you're going through stuff and you go and tell friends and family, or you want to talk it through, for them, they'll be like, oh, so why are you there still? Or this person doesn't seem right, they're not treating you right, or they're not communicating with you, or they're in and they're out, or they're not doing what you're supposed to do when you meet someone. Like, they're supposed to meet up with you, they're supposed to do this, just the typical things. Like, they will start to flag stuff to you when you share with them. Now, not everyone will, but they will at one point get to a point where they can't comprehend, and it almost just triggers them, or they don't realize that they're projecting. And what they're projecting is their understanding of relationships in the old paradigm, the old earth. They don't It's a projection of that, not a projection of the new earth, the new paradigm, and what's coming in. So they mean well. Your friends and family are not bad, but by sharing, you almost are opening, the space to what is something very, very sacred. And don't get me wrong, at the beginning when this happens and you've met that person, there's intensity, there's all things happening, and you want to tell your nearest and dearest, you want the support. But there might be a tipping point, and a tipping point where they're like, why are you still talking to that person? Or I thought I told you to do this. And it will really show their own triggers, and it will help you understand more about them as well. But how do you protect the connection? Well, first of all, I'd say be very discerning about what you share and who you share it with. If you're very observant, then understand who can have an impartial kind of role in your life that can hold space and listen to you without judgment, and listen to you to let you feel heard, be heard, not necessarily listen to respond. And I know we're all very used to that. So if you know you've got someone like that in your immediate circle, then that's the person. And maybe ask for their confidentiality and keep it quiet again, compared to the others. Now, if you've already told many people because you didn't realize the kind of connection it was, and then afterwards you did, and then you thought, wow, they're all against this person, or it just seems like they think I need to move on, then your best bet is almost to just sort of brush it off and kind of not entertain it, and just say, yeah, I'm not sort of doing that anymore. When you say I'm not doing that anymore, what are you not doing? So you're not necessarily lying, and I'm not trying to teach you guys how to lie. I'm just trying to help you guys navigate and do what makes more sense for your peace, right? It's where you put your focus and who you allow into those sacred spaces, especially something that's so dear to your heart. I'm grabbing my boob there, sorry. But do you know what I mean? So I just think that it's important. Now, like I said, if you've already told many people, you may notice on this journey anyway, some of those people drift away. I remember I had told a few people, none of those people are around me anymore. And it's not a bad thing. It wasn't a big fight or anything. It just naturally drifted apart. And now those that I do share things with are most likely on the same journey. I mean, that's who I normally would. So trust me when I say that you will meet others that you could actually share this with. But I'm not saying to keep everything inside, because it can be hard. If you do see a therapist or you go to a healer, they're probably a safe, sacred space to outlet what's going on without judgment. And this is key, without judgment, because this dynamic is already intense as it is. There's a lot that you're learning, you're being triggered, you're projecting, they're being triggered. There's in and out energy at some points. There's high intense moments at the beginning, and then it can fall away, and you could then, likely go into separation at some point, which serves its purpose, which I want to talk about in a separate episode, about the power and the impact of separation. But, just coming back to how to protect things, it's important to know that also the universe and the divine, orchestration wants this connection to continue into a solid 3D union. Why? Because it's the twins and these souls that are going to create a new paradigm for love, something that's really unconditional love that allows for, expansion, and for the new earth to rise up, and for the divine feminine to rise up, and to create the balance with the divine feminine and divine masculine. So they are kind of the imprints, right, that are forging a brand new earth. So that's why the divine and why creator, orchestration of the divine plan is very much behind this and will help it along. So, the universe will allow for some, tools and support to help guide that protection. But also it's having the right mindset. It's like saying to yourself, do you know what? I know what I'm in now. I know that I get it. I've done the signs. I've kind of like, I've kind of asked spirit, universe, creator, is this, my twin flame? You may have heard me say this on another episode, but if you want to know who your twin flame is, I always just say ask for a sign and put it out there and just like detach from it and then see if it comes through. So not going to get into that, but if you genuinely know you are in this kind of very high vibrational soul connection, then start to be deliberate and intentional about what you do, how you think about it, and who you allow into these very personal sacred spaces. I mean, they're very sacred, especially for the twins, especially with what goes on. And when you get others coming involved, and they might not mean what bad, of course, I say that over and over again, but it's interference and it's energies that can just make things that are already challenging even feel more sort of, it's almost like rubbing salt in the wound, and they don't even know they're rubbing salt in the wound. They think that they're helping, and they're like, oh, that's going to be better, I'll just do this, and you're like, ow. So you have the power. Remember this: how you show up, you can't control anyone else, but you can control yourself. And this is what I think, that's where the mindset comes in, so use that kind of perspective to allow yourself to really give yourself a really clear mindset of, I know that I'm in a high vibrational soul connection. I know that, I know this is my divine counterpart. I understand that there's a journey I've signed up to, and I'm going to go with it, and I'm just going to take each day as it comes. I'm going to be very deliberate about who I spend my energy with, give my energy to, but who I share this connection with. It's, as well as if you're going to like multiple card readers, I don't think that's a good idea either. That can also just confuse you anyway, and I don't really recommend constantly getting readings. I do think it can give clarity and help and advice, but definitely sort of feel the energy and maybe go after one reader that resonates for you, and then try to work with them. But don't potentially go around lots of readers, because that can also confuse you, and those interferences can also impact the connection and its protection. But it's about creating really a space that is sacred, and you can do that through meditation. You can most definitely kind of create this this visualization of a protective bubble around you and your twin or your soulmate, and allow that to be a very, I cleanse the aura around us. I free off any internal, external negative thoughts, feelings, and vibrations. Call on Archangel Michael to come and protect the connection and to support, to channel any messages or give any signs that may be needed to help you along the journey and to keep protected for yourself, but for your twin. And I do really believe like self-protection is important with energy, where you spend your energy, who you respond to, even knowing that you don't need to respond to people. Lately I've been getting messages. As you know, I'm away. Well, you can see it from this video. And I've been getting messages like, oh, where are you? From people that I don't even talk to. So all of a sudden, I never get a happy birthday. I've not heard from you in months. We don't even talk on the phone. But you think I'm just going to respond to a message where you're telling me, where am I? First and foremost, I'm a flipping Scorpio. So there's no way that I'm going to be telling you where I am. And I actually didn't really say where I was at all anyway. So my nearest and dearest, and that's a very select few, know exactly where I went and how long I'm away for and what I'm doing, and that's it. If you see pictures or you see videos and you're not talking to me like on a regular basis, and all of a sudden you're messaging me, don't expect to get a message back. I've ignored loads of messages. Why? Because it's not because I'm a bitch, and it's not because I'm rude. It's like, well, I don't see any value of them in my life. They're not in my life. So why am I going to now start engaging in conversation and giving that energy to an entity that I don't even know is of the right vibration for me? And it's like a leak. Then my energy starts to leak out. Like, no. I'm keeping it in the place and nurturing it in the place where I know it's going to be the most abundant, the most healed, the most aligned to the universe, to protect me and to allow me to propel my journey and do what I need to do. So I hope that makes sense. Sorry, I didn't want it to be about me, but I just thought that was a really good analogy. Like, I've just ignored. It's so funny because the repeated messages are, where are you? What are you doing? Because they can see maybe I'm away and I'm having a very nice time, but the place I'm at or the places I've been at are quite, extraordinary. They're very beautiful. but I'm not obliged to tell you where I am. Like, I didn't tell you I was going there, so why am I going to tell you where I am right now? No, I don't need to check in. This is not like a tracker. Anyway, so protecting the connection, gratitude. Being grateful is really a powerful vibration. So, we have all different types of feelings and emotions, and then they go from low to high vibrational: fear, victim consciousness, narcissistic consciousness, blame, fighting, anger, resentment. They're all very lower vibrational energies. And then you've got peace, you've got love, compassion, gratitude, tranquility, serenity. And they're on the higher vibrational scale, right? So when you are at more in peace through meditating, you're giving and showing gratitude, you are allowing yourself to vibrate higher, and naturally that vibration in itself is a protection. And one thing that might be relevant to any of you is that if you're in a twin flame connection, there might be a karmic involved or a third party. And if they do catch wind of you, so third parties don't always have to be romantic. The karmic, there can be a karmic, yes, it can be an ex or a child's mother or an actual spouse, but things are not going too well, whatever that dynamic is, it's on its way out. Or it could be a third energy, meaning like family, work, even just mentality, ways of thinking. So that sorry, I heard tapping and I was like, okay, that was just a confirmation, and I've been getting it all day today. And I was like, okay, sorry about that. Just had to make sure, is that confirmation than what I was saying? So I just lost my train of thought, but what I was saying is that yes, being in those high vibrational energies and frequencies will be a natural protection for you, but also for your twin. So if your twin is going for a really tough patch, right, and it happens a lot in separation where the twins go through their transformation, but usually it's the feminine energy and the feminine that kind of leads the way. She has a bit more consciousness about this dynamic and can kind of keep the vibration higher for the two. So if you're in that position, this is exactly why you need to protect the connection and be very deliberate and intentional about where you give your energy and where you give your time and effort. It's also about being humble but being powerful and getting that balance. This connection is such a beautiful connection. It's so powerful, but not everyone's called on this journey. So sometimes it can receive jealousy and envy because twins are the ultimate sort of feeling of true love, but it's a very arduous, difficult journey. Very difficult. So you're almost getting rewarded for doing some serious work spiritually, and they're much more evolved souls on earth. So not many souls will be able to resonate with that way of being. So that's another reason why you have to be very discerning about who you share with. And sometimes people are not aware consciously of how they feel, and they could be letting off energy and vibes that is of envy or jealousy, but they're not conscious to it. Remember, a lot of people, what they do when they're projecting, they're very, very much in an unconscious state of projection. So, when you turn around and say to them, oh, that was really horrible what you did, sometimes they don't even get it till a bit later and they've dug a bit deeper and they're like, oh, because it's a projection. It's a defense mechanism. It's a coping mechanism. It's something that's hidden with a deeper wound or trigger that, resides. So, yeah, definitely be mindful of that. If people start to speak about your twin or soulmate in a negative way, you can nip it in the bud, but then just don't give it any more don't let it become argumentative. Like if they're saying horrible stuff, you don't have to get into, because you're giving that its energy, and that's not a good place either. But just almost just nip it in the bud and just let it say, well, don't really want to talk about this, or it's not really happening right now, or whatever it is. Like whatever you feel you need to say, flipping say it. I'm not promoting anyone to lie or wear masks, but just do what you need to do in the most authentic way possible, and that will keep you at a good karmic balance, which feminines probably need to keep doing and keeping that, so they can help their masculines energetically move in and catch up to them on the journey, right? which they are doing, but we won't get into that right now. You can set an intention as well about protection, asking, like I said, Archangel Michael every day. I always put a bit of frankincense. I just do a protection for myself, but I know in my intention, by protecting myself and doing what I do in terms of meditation or yoga, it's naturally, automatically going to impact my twin, because we have a cord. So, you know, they will feel the vibration much more than someone that is not them. But others will, because, you know, good vibration, low vibration, you feel it, especially if you're an empath. But the twins will feel it. They'll feel it so powerfully. They'll be able to tell, you know, if the other one is in a not so good place, and probably even maybe even tap into thoughts, and vice versa. When it's a good time, they'll feel a very joyful, vibrant energy, almost like this light, and they're kind of like, oh, I need to get to that light. So that's I think those are I lost my words there, but those are, I think, the most important points to make. And it just reminds yourself that not many are going through this. So this is why I've created these episodes, this content. If you have any questions, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me any questions you have in the comments. I'm happy to get back to you, or even on DM in Instagram. And I hope this helps. Don't feel afraid to do stuff. If you haven't done some of this protection stuff before, like I said, give us a message. We're more than willing to help. You can even create like a water cleansing, and also doing cleansing around the new moon, full moon. And I do videos around that. So stay tuned. And with that being said, I hope this video was of value to you and it helped you on your journey. Sending you lots of love and light. Mwah. Bye.